Okay, well, this is a simple video by a novice. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a long-term storage 5-gallon bucket for dried food, which you can see on the floor there. That's enough to fit in the bucket when I get it in there. I've also treated this in the freezer to kill off what kind of critters might be living in there. And I think 3 days is what's recommended by most of the pros on YouTube. And I decided I got the Mylar bags and the oxygen absorbers. These are 5-gallon bags, and that's a 2000 cc oxygen absorber pack. Now, typically, as you know, what you do is you put the Mylar bag in there, put your food in there, and just lay a 2x4 over there, get an iron, and just seal it that way. You drop an oxygen absorber in there before you seal it, and over a period of a couple days, it creates a vacuum in there. Well, that's good. I mean, that works good. Everybody does that. But it's kind of expensive, and if you're using that food and it's not in there for 25 years, and you go back to it over and over again, that Mylar bag you're gonna have to replace it or cut it short, or and it gets worn over time, from what I hear. So what I decided to do is find a better way, and I hope I have. You can tell me if I haven't. This is a 5-gallon food grade bucket, which I got at Home Depot. And I use food grade because some people put, the storage stuff right in there without having a plastic bags. I really don't need it for this, but I got it anyway. I just have a regular lid that goes with their typical bucket, and it's got the O-ring in it, so it'll keep a vacuum. Now those 2-piece lids, it's my experience, because I've got one, they do not hold a vacuum, no matter how tight you screw them on and how well you put them on. So that wouldn't work for my purposes. I just need this $2 lid, okay? So what I decided to do was get a check valve, and you can get 3 of these for about 11 bucks on YouTube. If you don't know what a check valve is, it only allows liquid or gases to go in one direction. So if it's going out this way, then you can put the thing right here. And as you can see, the arrow on mine, I don't know if you can see it or not, probably can't. It's going that way, okay? So if I put a vacuum on there, it's going to suck the remaining air out of that bucket. Now I happen to have a compressor, a vacuum compressor, and a vacuum chamber, because I'm going to be using this for a lot of different things. But for this, it works great. And you can also do the jar thingy. I can put about 5 or 6 jars in this thing, where you have the lid loose and it sucks the air out of the jar. It works great. And you can do a bunch of them at the time. You don't have to do them one at a time. Again, you can use a food saver for this, because you're not really drawing the vacuum down that far. This one will go down way further than what I need. So what I did was I measured this. I think it's 6 millimeters. And I got a drill bit that was slightly less than that, and drilled a hole. And because this thing has barbs on it, you just kind of force it in, and it goes in it stays pretty tight. But I also bought some of this, and you can use silicone caulking. This is silicone gasket maker. It's got a little nozzle on it. It can be silicone caulking or whatever you want. And I just went around that tube there, and I did put a little bit on it before I pushed it in. I'm not sure you need it on the outside. I think on the inside would probably be fine. I'll try that next time. But anyway, so there it is, and I'm going to put this food in here and show you how I suck everything out. So let me pause this. Okay, I'm back, and as I said, I'm using a little compressor. I got it from Harbor Freight for like 130 bucks. They got a 2-stage. I got the 3-stage because I use it for other things, like I said. And I put a gauge on there. This is a hose that fits this barb right here, which is 6 millimeters. If you have a food saver, I think you can just take that little nozzle and stick it in there and hold it. It only takes a second to get that air out of there. If you keep pulling the air out, you'll collapse the sides of the bucket. And this is a strong bucket, by the way. Even with the food in there, it still does it. So I don't think you need all that. Also, just to finish up here about eBay, I have some little rubber plugs that I ordered that will fit in here kind of tight. So over time, if this thing fails, which it could, I don't know, I don't think it will, but if the O-ring in here fails, then that little rubber plug will keep the vacuum. It doesn't matter if this fails or not. Over time, that's for long term. Now again, if you just, if you've got like your 4 gallons or 4 pounds or 20 pounds of beans or whatever you put in these. I don't know what it hold, but up to 5 gallons, I guess. But and it's not in plastic, then and you're reusing it all the time. Mylar doesn't work, as I said before, that well. So you just pull out what you want, tap the bucket lid back on with a little dead blow hammer is what I got. You know, take the vacuum out and you're good to go. Okay, so I think that will work pretty well. So let's give this a try. Wish I had a tripod. There's the, like I say, I'm a novice about this stuff, but I wanted to put it out here anyway. All right, so let me take this dead blow hammer right here and go to work. I think that's good enough. All right, so now I'm going to put this hose on here. And it doesn't have to be real tight. You can kind of do this by holding it on there. Like I said, it's not going to be much of a vacuum. So when that lid sinks down, I'm shutting it off. Okay, here we go. There. See, I did it too long. Look here. The sides of the bucket are starting to collapse. So it doesn't take much. But it does have a vacuum on it. Let's see. Let me put the plug in there and show you what I'm talking about. This will be for long-term storage, or you can take it on and off as you're getting at it. Well, come on. There it goes. So it's in there. Okay, now let's see what we got here. You hear that? That was the vacuum. It doesn't take much. A food saver would be just fine. Even those little brake bleeder pumps that I see people use, anything just suck, because there's not that much air in there. See, show you the side of the bucket. See how it collapsed a little bit? So I let it go a little bit too long. It doesn't take much. Now if you've got live food in here that doesn't have the plastic bag, just loose, I mean, then you can fill it all the way up to here, but you could also put a little piece of wire mesh over that with a rubber band or some kind of clamping, just to keep the beans or rice or whatever from getting sucked into there. Okay, let me know if this helps. See ya.